Does your record player sound like it's seen better days, like there's a small furry animal constantly attached to the needle? Well, perhaps you need a new stylus. So when and how often do you need to replace your stylus? Is it when the 7 moons align, or more likely, there isn't really a definitive rule in how often and when you should change your stylus? Obviously, it's when it's worn down, but how quickly your stylus gets worn down can be determined by a whole lot of factors. It can be determined by the quality of the stylus, it can be determined by the condition and the quality of the records that you're playing. But there can be other factors like your tone arm and how well it's set up. So if the tracking force is very high, or if it's just not a very stable or good quality tone arm, that can obviously cause the stylus to bounce around on it and cause much greater record and stylus wear. So then if there is no definitive rule, how do you gauge, how do you work out when to put on a new stylus? How do you know when to spend that extra £1 billion to get a new one? There are a few methods. One of them is to gauge how many hours you've listened to your records. If you're anything like me, then you don't want to sit there and tick away every hour you've listened to your records. The manual for most styli will suggest a listening time of say 500 or 1,000 hours for your particular stylus. Alternatively, you could look at the needle under a microscope, but judging it is somewhat of a skill in itself, and personally I don't think it's really worth learning for all the amount you're going to use it. The best thing I think is to use your ears. Yeah, I did just point at my temples. I've got internal ears like an alligator. Some of the telltale signs is that the music you're listening to will, over a long period of time, start to sound a little bit fluffy and less clear. The top end especially, the top end and the upper mids, will definitely start to sound much less defined and much less clear, but there can also be less definition in the bass in some cases. One of the pitfalls that you can have though is that it's really hard to keep an oral memory of what your stylus originally sounded like. If when you first bought your record player or the stylus, it was a year ago, let's say, the ability for you to actually remember what that sounded like is basically like zero. However, before you go off and make any mad judgments about your stylus, you decided it's definitely damaged and it's definitely worn down, just clean it first. There could well be some fluff that you can't even see on it, so get your stylus brush or whatever you have, give it a good clean, and then put your ears to work. While allowing your stylus to get too worn can actually in the end cause great damage to your records, don't get obsessed with it, it's simply not worth it. Spend time listening to your records and not to your record player. Obviously enjoy it for the great high fidelity audio that it gives you, but don't obsess over every little detail so much that you forget to enjoy the music. Thank you very much for watching this AudioLlama video in which I basically told you nothing. I do hope you enjoyed it, however. Click up here to watch a video about how to set your turntable up. Click down here for another brilliant AudioLlama video. Follow me on social media, add me on Patreon, all that kind of thing. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.